Well, given that Epic Universe is opening this summer and it's anticipated that it is going to bolster Universal's attendance by millions of guests coming through the gates, a lot of people have been wondering, what is Disney's response going to be this summer for this anticipated new park? And given Disney's recent criticism from even mainstream outlets about their ticket pricing and their price hikes, many have theorized, myself included, that the only thing Disney is going to be able to do this summer is have to reduce the cost to go to Disney through discounts. And it seems that we may have an answer for what they're going to do this summer, discounts being heavy on them. So we're going to take a look at what Disney announced this morning and what we can read between the lines on some of these things to see where maybe Disney's getting worried about how they could be impacted by Epic Universe. And also an attraction is announced getting a refurb, which I actually think is a good thing about this refurb. So we'll go through all this, talk about it, give some thoughts. So hi, I'm Jared with Capture the Magic. And the first one, there's a few here we're going to go through, but the first one here is, again, most of these are from Blog Mickey, but the headlining one here is the fact that Walt Disney World announces summer deals, 50% off kids tickets. Free dining is back, and $89 tickets and more. It says Walt Disney World will be soon rolling out new discounts for guests looking to visit Disney World this summer. All offers will be available to book starting March 27th. So the deals here they have are 50% off on kids tickets. You can purchase a 3-day or longer kids ages 3 to 9 standard ticket for 50% off. This deal is available for visits beginning May 27th through September 30th. Then they have a 3-day, 3-park ticket. Get a 3-day, 3-park ticket starting at $89 per day, $267 total for visits starting on April 6th through September 22nd. Now, what's interesting about this is this ticket is only for admission to Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. They also brought back the free dining plan. Backed by popular demand, you can get a free dining plan with the purchase of a non-discounted 4-night, 4-day, or longer ticket package that includes a room at a select Disney Resort hotel and a ticket with a park hopper option. And this is available for dates June 29th through December 22nd. And then they have Disney Resort room deals. Save up to 30% on select Disney Resort hotel rooms when you stay longer for visits beginning April 1st through October 11th. So I think looking at these packages right here, we can tell a lot of information about what Disney's worry is. I think the main one being 3-day, 3-park ticket. So what's interesting about it is the fact that it's only for admission at Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. I've often said, I think one of the things that could happen is Disney has said before that, they believe the rising tide lifts all boats. They've changed that language a bit as time has gone on, seemingly being a little bit more, I'm not going to say pessimistic, but a warning that there may be an impact from Epic Universe at their recent financial meeting. But likely what could happen is people still go to Disney that are going to Epic Universe, but they don't go as long. I've heard from a lot of people that are staying 3-4 nights at Universal, going over to Disney for 1 to 2 days, where typically in the past that may have been flipped. And I think that's the thing. If that ends up happening, this is what Disney's worried about. And in that scenario, very likely Magic Kingdom will come away unscathed in terms of attendance. I mean, you could even see an increase in attendance at Magic Kingdom, but the other 3 parks could be the ones where they really struggle, especially Animal Kingdom, as it had a 34% drop in their attendance in 2023. That is likely to continue as even more things are under construction, and I don't see anything turning that around, especially when you're looking at people not going to Disney as much. Magic Kingdom, obviously the most in demand, and then Animal Kingdom, I think for sure is going to have the biggest drop and hit in attendance, and then it just comes down to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. How do those fare? Obviously, Disney seems to be worried about this because in this ticket package, it is for all the parks except for Magic Kingdom. So I think that's pretty telling right there. And then offering it at $89 per day, also a pretty steep discount right there. You're getting pretty close to a 40% discount on that 3-day, 3-park ticket package. And then you look at the 50% off for kids tickets. I've often said, I wonder if Disney, really the only thing they can do to combat Epic Universe is essentially discounts. And we'll go through the other things they announced, but that is going to be the main thing they're going to be able to do because they have nothing ready that's going to combat, new rides or anything. The things they announced at D23 last year are not going to be ready for years down the road. So really, discounts is the only main mechanism they have to try and entice people to come over. 50% off on kids tickets on top of that that's a very steep discount. I'd often wondered if they go 40-50%. They're not doing it on the broad ticket package, but on the kids tickets, I think they're trying to get to what they've been doing at Disneyland at some of those discount tickets for kids out there. So definitely shows you right there with 50% off for kids, going after families, trying to get them to come over. And obviously these are all at 3 days or more. So they're trying to entice people on just making it cheaper for the overall trip. The free dining plan, this one's also pretty telling because if been around Disney for very long, they basically do free dining when they need people to come to the parks. They first started doing this after 9/11 when they were really struggling with the attendance as tourism was really down after that. Free dining plan is something they pull out of their back pocket when they need it. So that one's pretty telling that I think pulling out free dining, 50% off kids tickets, offering $89 per day at 3 of the parks except for Magic Kingdom. I think it does show you that Disney is not liking what they are seeing on the bookings for this summer and going into the fall. Because again, if you were looking good on that, you wouldn't have to do these massive discounts like this. So obviously, they're not seeing what they would like in terms of the bookings, or the bookings are not for as long. And I think, again, that's why they've been tapping into offering the half price on the annual pass holder down payment, really trying to entice more pass holders and Florida resident deals, which they have more of those they announced. So I think they're going to be leaning pretty heavily on discounts and trying to get locals, people who are close to Disney World, to come to the parks to try and make up the gap in attendance here. They also announced a limited time Cool Kids Summer activations and characters during early entry. From May 27th through September 1st, families should be on the lookout for limited time experiences perfect for young kids in the theme parks, including kid zones featuring new activities and fun ways to interact with more Disney characters. There will be pop-up entertainment offerings, games, music, dancing, and other adventures to help your little ones make those core Disney memories. For example, over at Magic Kingdom, families can discover kid zones with added fun in Storybook Circus and in Tomorrowland with Stitch. And following the Epcot Flower and Garden Festival, families with young kids will be able to cool down while enjoying the ultimate game party and play space featuring none other than Goofy as he takes over Communicore Hall at Epcot. It seems they're taking aspects of things they do at some of the parties, like the Halloween parties and the Christmas parties, because these are things like you often have Stitch on the stage doing a party or a dance party in some of these places, taking those and putting them into the early morning access for people that stay on property. Personally speaking, I think these are things that should just be in the parks all the time. I don't think this should be a special event to do these things, but obviously they're trying to entice people to stay on property and really going after families. Again, 50% off for kids, offering more things for, kids entertainment, early morning. This is something, again, these are things that I've often said, they're going to do things that are quick, and this is something you can do. Just get another cast member to go into a costume, throw a little dance party. Like, it's not going to cost them a lot of money. They can throw it together pretty quickly, and they can market it as a perk. So that's kind of basically what they're doing right here. And then they have some announcements on some upcoming attractions. Opening dates revealed for Disney Villains, Unfairly After, and The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure at Hollywood Studios. First up is a show that puts a twist on evil Disney villains. Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After aims to tell stories of how unfairly they have been treated. The Magic Mirror is the centerpiece of the show, giving guests a glimpse into how difficult it is to be a Disney villain. This will open on May 27th in the Sunset Showcase venue where formerly Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy was. And they said also on May 27th, The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, opens in the Animation Courtyard. So this is a newly reimagined show set to debut on May 27th. So it seems to try and help the attendance at Hollywood Studios. They've got 2 shows. And in the same light as shows, which I was a little surprised by this, Disney Starlight Nighttime Parade, which I think is the main thing in terms of, I guess you could say, not attraction, but something to really try and get people over, is the new nighttime parade they're going to do at Magic Kingdom. But they said this is coming later this summer. So it says, while Disney World has previously announced a summer 2025 opening for the Disney Starlight Nighttime Parade, an update from Disney today says that guests can expect the parade to debut later this summer. Typically, we see Disney World debut summer offerings on or around Memorial Day weekend, and the 2 Hollywood Studios stage shows are no exception to that rule. However, it looks like Disney Starlight Nighttime Parade will not hit the Memorial Day weekend opening time frame, and instead is sometime later in the summer. That could be August, September. I mean, it could be very late in the summer. I would assume they were trying to get this ready, and it just, for whatever reason, they're not able to. So in terms of, really, if we're looking at what they're basically going to have, whatever their answer for Epic Universe is this summer, which, let's be real, they don't really have, they're not going to have an answer, because the things that were an answer for this stuff, they announced at D23 in 2024, and they're not going to be ready for years to come. A true answer for Epic Universe would have been announcing these things 2 or 3 years ago, where they would come online within 6 months, a year after Epic Universe opened. But the thing is about all of this, they don't have anything that's going to be ready for years in terms of an attraction. So this is why I've been saying for a long time, this is a very interesting time period, because not only just this summer, but multiple summers going forward, they're likely to have nothing really to combat Epic Universe if it is a massive success, if it is everything this park is, living up to the hype. If that's the case, Disney's going to be left with basically shows and discounts to really lure people over, and lounges. They've got lounges they're going to do. In terms of these shows here, these are things that the Disney audience wants, and I think it's actually a pretty smart thing to do. Is when you're left in this situation, whatever, you can't do anything about what happened in the past. You're just looking at reality as of right now, placating to your base of what they want, which the base has been wanting a nighttime parade for a very long time. It's been over 10 years. So that's a smart thing to do, is to include that. And that's relatively cheap. I mean, it's not going to cost you near as much money as building a new theme park land or attraction. And the shows here, again, these are things that the audience wants. But the real question, I think, is, outside of the Disney audience that wants these things, is this going to be enough to lure people over that are coming in for, say, Epic Universe? Now, I don't think the shows and the parade are really headlining enough to really get people that are excited for Epic Universe coming and a brand new theme park to think, oh, let's go check out shows and parades. But it is something on top of the fact that maybe they still do want to go to Magic Kingdom or Hollywood Studios, and the discounts could be a little bit more of a push to be like, well, we can get half off for the kids. We can spend a day or two over at Disney and go check it out. That likely is the reality they're looking at. So I think not having the parade as part of it is definitely not something they probably want, because that would have been a much stronger offering to book a 3-day package that includes, the ability to see the nighttime parade. And on top of all that, they also had an announcement, which I actually think is a really good thing, which is Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin closing this summer, and new ride vehicles and gameplay upgrades coming in 2026. So outside of the fact that Tomorrowland is a mess in terms of the theming, like nothing in here makes sense to be Tomorrowland, for the most part. I mean, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, I don't know how that belongs there. I would also say Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin doesn't make a lot of sense being here, but likely they're not going to be gutting Tomorrowland anytime soon to update it. So if this ride's going to be in there, which I've always felt this ride had potential to be a cool experience. I like competitive shooting games, but I've always felt the system in this thing is very frustrating, and I've never really enjoyed it with how it's just set up. But this still is a very popular ride with families and kids. So I think updating this is a pretty good move here. So the 26-year-old attraction will be closing starting in August and remain closed into 2026 as updates are made to the ride. So part of it is they're getting a brand new scene. It says, as the adventure begins, guests will now be greeted by all new character. This friendly robot, aptly named Buddy, was created by Walt Disney Imagineering and Pixar Animation to play a key role on the Star Command team. As a support bot, Buddy makes sure departing Space Rangers are fully prepped for their mission, enthusiastically providing encouragement, final system checks on their Star Cruisers, and a chance to hone their blaster aim. So they're also getting new ride vehicles. Star Cruisers will also receive a facelift with a new design inspired by the colors of Buzz Lightyear and Star Command. It also will come equipped with video monitors that provide real-time scoring updates and other exciting features. Handheld blasters. This is the one I'm happy about. Each vehicle will now include handheld blasters for better aim, helping guests to score even more points. It says also perfect for younger riders. It says, and if you're ever worried about where you're aiming, don't worry, you're not alone. These enhanced blasters will now include an always-on laser and come in 2 different colors per Star Cruiser, in addition to new lighting, sound, and vibration effects, which are haptic effects. Like when you hit something, it'll kind of give you a little bit of feedback. So players know when they're aiming throughout the mission. There's also interactive targets. The static Z targets found in the attraction today will be upgraded with new technology that will allow them to react and light up when hit. It also opens the door for a few other ideas Imagineers have in mind. So in terms of this ride, I mean, again, it doesn't fit Tomorrowland to me, but I'm happy to hear about this being updated because it's always, to me, been a very frustrating experience as somebody who's competitive. So I think that's a good thing. But again, this is coming in 2026. And if we look at also, Disney running their discounts in the shows in the parade, there's a lot of things that are not going to be open this summer. So in Magic Kingdom alone, you've got Big Thunder Mountain's going to be out. Space Ranger Spin's going to be out. Astro Orbiter is out for refurbishment. And then likely the Rivers of America and that area Frontierland is going to be closed down. So at Magic Kingdom this summer, while they may see the most attendance in terms of people coming over from Epic Universe to Disney World, there's a lot of things that are going to be down that is more than likely going to lead to pretty high wait times here. So really, when it comes down to enticing people to come over here, they do have shows and parades, but there's a lot of attractions that are going to be down as they're being refurbed, which I do think these things are a good thing. I think a lot of this stuff should have been done years ago, not Rivers of America. I'm very much against taking that out. You also do have Test Track that is opening this summer at Epcot, which is not a new attraction. It's a refurb. I suppose that may get a little bit of attention over there, but I don't know about being a headlining thing to really get people to come over. But that's kind of what you're looking at this summer with Disney. There's a lot of refurbs. There is going to be tons of construction going on as Muppet Vision 3D is going away. That construction is also starting in June, or that area is closing down. Animal Kingdom's under construction. So there's a lot of things going on at Disney that don't lend itself to really drawing people in. Massive construction being one of them. Lots of rides being down. Headliner ones like Big Thunder Mountain, very popular attractions, and increased competition. So will it work? Time will tell. I look at, you have a brand new theme park opening. That's the first park that's opened on this scale in Orlando in 25 years that has this much hype and anticipation for it. It's a tall order to try and compete with that. And I think realistically, even Disney would admit they don't have anything that's going to compete with what Epic Universe is doing, what Universal is doing, but you're just trying to get a slice of that pie of people coming in, if they are coming in specifically for that, to be part of that. Personally speaking, I don't feel that shows and parades are going to just be headlining enough to really draw people's attention. But with the discounts on top of it, that combined, if people weren't going to go to Disney, then maybe they're willing to throw a day or two, maybe 3 days to Disney to go check it out if it's that heavily discounted. And I think this is what they're looking at here. So it's kind of interesting seeing, Bob Iger and Josh DiMauro have been, defending their pricing and saying it's very reasonable. You still go to Disney on the cheap. But then, just a few weeks later, having these massive discounts, because obviously they're seeing something they don't like. I mean, you don't put discounts out here like this if your bookings look just fine. And again, if, this park lives up to the hype and it is as great as, Universal has touted, a lot of people have been looking forward to, if it lives up to the hype, that is going to be a whole other scenario as time goes on and the good reviews pour in that Disney would have to try and battle with not only this summer. This is not just a this summer battle. This is an ongoing battle for years because, again, Disney doesn't have anything in terms of the new attractions that they announced coming online. They say the earliest being 2027. I will see. Maybe they have, the motivation to build quickly. Typically, Disney builds very slowly, but a lot of the things I don't think you see, if it does happen in 2027, it'd be Animal Kingdom to be first. I think it'd be the late part of 27, but most of these things are not going to come online until 2028 and beyond. I think Villains Land, you're looking well into 2030, and very likely during this time period. I mean, Universal's already said that they have things planned for the existing parks. They have things planned for the Epic Universe expansion areas. So while Disney is building the things that are their answer for Epic Universe that are not going to be ready for years to come, Universal very likely could get things built and done in that time period that Disney's still trying to answer for the original thing, which was Epic Universe. So this time period is, I think it's very exciting. I think increased competition is great. And I think it's going to be, if you're a theme park fan, you're just going to get more great things to check out. And I think Universal is proving, and I guess we'll see this summer how well this shakes out. But I think Universal is on their way, at least, to proving that they are a legitimate competition, whether or not Disney wants to admit it or not. And I think that you're looking at the landscape of theme parks in the Orlando area really about to change in real time. I'm not saying that Universal is going to overtake Disney in terms of attendance or that Epic Universe is going to be Magic Kingdom. There's decades of nostalgia and brand growth and just, overall exposure that Disney has plus size. But Universal obviously had a fantastic last decade. They're building on momentum. They're being very aggressive, and they're just going to continue to eat into market share. And I think Disney is perhaps going to regret not having an answer announced sooner. But of course, we will keep an eye on this all summer long, all year long. And any news that comes out about this, we will be sure to let you know here. So be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up on the latest things going on with all this theme park craziness. But either way, that's going to be it, though, for this video. If you like this video, please like it and be sure to subscribe to the channel before you go as we cover things from Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, do you think that these discounts that Disney announced and the things coming to the parks this summer are enough to combat Epic Universe? And until next time, we will see you in the parks. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this summer plays out, but I think regardless, Disney is showing they are concerned about how this could impact them as where they're showing the discounts and in really, the 50% off for kids. I think it's pretty telling, the free dining. So I think no matter what Disney says, they're growing a little bit concerned about how Epic Universe might impact them. But of course, we will keep an eye on this, and as soon as